Hey everyone, Rick at Top Performance, and I wanted to do this video to kind of illustrate in detail the Comp 274 VVT cam for the Dodge Hemis. I've seen the groups and people that get on and say, oh, it's a horrible cam, you need to stall, it'll never run correctly, just all kinds of things. And I guess I don't know where they're getting their info from, if they've ever driven a car that had a 274 and no other mods or even tuned one. Not too sure. So I wanted to go over this so everybody could kind of see. I mean, I've seen videos where, oh yeah, you gain 100 horse and then you find out it's a 5.7 car. And I mean, multiple people I've spoke that a 5.7 will gain more power, and I kind of believe it because a 5.7 is a little more held back, say, from the factory than a 6.4 Hemi. This particular car, this dyno graph, is from a 2015 SRT with an 8-speed. The car has cat delete, mid muffler delete, the Hellcat intake, and a 180 thermostat. So with those mods coming in, the best pull, it made 427 horse and 446 foot-pounds of torque. This was one of the final runs with the cam that took power up to 477 horsepower and torque up to 454. And as you can see, this line is the stock horsepower. This line is the cam horsepower. Stock torque, cam torque. Now, through a lot of trials and tribulations, I was able to move the cam around, mess with timing, and get the car to where, from the get-go, starting the pulls at 2,500 RPM, I had more torque and horsepower than stock. Now, unfortunately, I'm not on the dyno computer, so I can't click here and show you the differences. But I mean, yeah, right here, you're talking 10 horsepower difference. And up in here, maybe 20 foot-pounds of torque difference. But a gain is a gain. So some of the guys that have said, oh, the 274 cam, it's a pig down low. Well, you've gained horsepower and torque, so why would you need a stall? I mean, if that's the case, a stall will help a stock cam car just as much as it's going to help a car with a 274 cam based on these readings, right? And of course, all the stock cars looks like 4,500 RPM. We're right around where the intake's doing its thing. The SRV, they all have a dip in them, and I tried my hardest to get that out of it and kind of straighten it out. But as you can see, obviously the horsepower really starts climbing and going off the chart from the factory cam at 5,500 RPM. I mean, this is horsepower, this line here, with the factory cam, and it starts falling off just past 6,000 RPM. I mean, by 6,200, you're losing power at a pretty good rate. Whereas with the 274 cam, it is really starting to pick up steam. And kind of the same goes for torque. The torque picks up and it holds out a little bit longer at a higher amount. Obviously, the stock cam being down here. So I mean, overall it performs to me pretty well. You have to ask yourself, is it worth the money? Later on with other mods, nitrous, or there's even guys using this cam with blowers. I mean, what's going to be your gain versus a stock cam? I mean, I haven't done the test to put a blower on a car with a stock cam and then put the 274 cam in and sit there and switch stuff around. I mean, it's a lot of work. The next thing I want to show you, because it's to me is important, is averages. Now again, I dynoed this car with the current mods I told you about, and 427 was the best I got out of it. So I used it in that previous picture to kind of show you. Average power, average horsepower, 330, 338 with the stock cam, and then on average, we're at 355 with a 274 cam. Torque, max torque, I mean, it's not up much, which I think a lot of guys would expect from such a big cam, but it is up. An average torque is up only 4 foot-pounds. It's not a lot. So, I mean, there again, you got to ask yourself, is it worth the money? Um, if this is a cam you want, it it gains. I mean, no matter which way you slice it, it does gain. In the future, there again, as you start modding and doing other things like an intake to possibly straighten this line out, and intake and throttle body to make it pick up even more power. I mean, it's hard saying what the gains are going to be. I'll have a short idle clip. I'm sure a lot of guys have heard it. I mean, it's really no secret. You can find a few videos of cars idling and all that, but I just wanted to show you guys the real numbers. I mean, this is it. I mean, I spent a lot of time with this cam on this car because I knew I was going to do this video. I can go into the tune and show you looking stock versus what I had done. I mean, all the cam stuff has been changed. I did tune the car using the neural network. It's still enabled. Speed density, I did go in and actually tune the car on VE and do some testing. But in the end, I left this car with the neural network on doing its thing. But the camshaft, a lot of stuff's got to be changed. Everything that's in green is altered tables from factory. So it can be done. I mean, the car runs great. You have to be careful because at idle, if you have an auto, if it falls below 550 RPM in gear, it freaks the TCM out and it makes you put the car back in park, and you kind of have to like reset it. So idle has to be spot on. I mean, you can't have it dip down or surge or nothing. And this car has done none of that and performed really well. I mean, the customer's happy. He obviously has future plans for it and things he wants to do. So the cam was just kind of a stepping stone and made it sound good at idle. That's for sure. Be intimidating when you're sitting there at a stoplight next to somebody. You don't hear too many Dodges running around with a healthy cam. There again, is it the best cam for everybody? No, but I think it's unfair to say that it's a bad cam or a pig down low. As we clearly illustrated, it gains power. So with that, I'll throw in a few pictures and do an idle clip. Hope you enjoyed the video and it shed some light for you. Thanks, guys.